Good morning, beloveds. Okay. We had time to do 2 loops and then not enough time to really do another one, but we got home early, so I was like, I'm gonna go change clothes because, yeah, it's 70 degrees out there already, and I came home a sweaty mess. The weather is weird. It was almost raining when we left, but we went to the park anyway. And then it cleared up. But the wind was really nice. Of course, once you're sweaty, the wind is something else. I don't know about y'all, but it's been a weird week. It's just been one of those weeks when I haven't been sure about what day of the week it is at all. I don't know. I don't know. Tuesday, I didn't know what day of the week it was. Wednesday, I think I knew. And then Thursday and Friday, I was like, I don't know. Today is Saturday. I know today is Saturday. I have 2 things on my calendar today. So, one of them being, I'm going to go get a vaccine. So I'm trying not to read the news because I'm going to go get the Johnson & Johnson. But, yeah. So if that's how I did it, was I Googled all of the major hospitals. So I Googled Memorial Hermann, St. Luke's, and Memorial Hermann, St. Luke's, and Methodist. And I just Googled the hospital and vaccine. And then on their page, it'll take you to the thing, and you can sign up for a wait list. The drugstores don't have wait lists, but the hospitals do. So that's how I got on. So, and I think I'm going to say I got lucky, but I also have been treating because, I have responsibilities, and the sooner I get this vaccine, the sooner some of those responsibilities can change levels. You know what I mean? All right. But it is April 10th. Our title is I Build Wisely, for the mind that created me is with me and working through me. And the Bible quote is for thou art with me. Psalm 23:4. I am always sustained by a perfect God. I am never alone and never lonely, for the universe is my friend. It was created by a loving intelligence to serve me. All people bring me a touch of God. All circumstances are impressing me with good. Where I am, God is, and that is all I need to be happy. Around me at every instant is divine companionship and divine love. God looks at me through every face. God blesses me through every situation. The law of good is working for me. I give it full power in my life now. There is no law of evil to oppose it, for God is one. I know that I am held lovingly and firmly in the law of good. The peace that passeth all understanding is mine, for I let God do the work. I set aside all my human opinion and material belief and give God a chance to act through me. I know that it is the only result of this decision will be increased blessing in my life. I construct new forms based on new ideas. I let the old patterns fall away, and I rejoice in a new heaven and a new earth. Letting go of the past, I press forward to new and greater ideas of truth. New foundations appear, new temples are built, and new good happens. I build on the sure knowledge of the goodness of life and the permanence of love. Within me now is the power of God fulfilling all my desires. With me now is a divine love making lovely and gracious my way. Within me now is God's intelligence making every right decision. I lack for nothing, for the mind which created me is in me and working through me. All right. I think I have many thoughts. I'm not sure. Because I got to the end and I was like, sometimes I immediately like, oh, no, this. And this is kind of one where okay, so I build wisely, for the mind that created me is with me, working through me. I build wisely. And that's I think that's kind of that overarching thought of I build wisely. I build wisely because the mind that created me is within me. And to build wisely, I have to recognize that he says it in here, every face, all people bring me a touch of God. God looks at me through every face. And it's like, can you imagine how your world would change if you looked at every single face? And I'm not talking just human, but, four-leggeds with fur, every face, and saw God looking back at you. How would your world change? Would it make it a more beautiful place? Would it make it a scarier place? Think about that. And I build my world wisely because Science of Mind, Centers for Spiritual Living, has an overarching motto, which is a world that works for everybody. And that looks different for everybody. What works for me doesn't necessarily work for everybody else. But so it's about, what is that word? It's not equality, it's equanimity, I think is the word I'm looking for. So when I am building my world, I want to build a world that works for me. But I'm also conscious of the fact that as I'm building my world, I want to build a world that works for everybody as well. So just because it works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you, and I am aware of that. So I leave open the pathways for you to alter what I do to what works for you. And that's how I build wisely. That's how I do it. Okay. So, I am always sustained by a perfect God. Remember that perfect means whole. Complete includes everything. I am never alone and never lonely, for the universe is my friend. And that was one of the things that I found really interesting, is because for a long time, I couldn't bear silence. I didn't like it when it was quiet in the house. So I had a radio on, or I had music playing, or I had a TV, playing in the background that I wasn't paying attention to, but I had to have that noise. And about a year into ministerial school, I kind of went, I like the silence. There will be days that my husband and I won't even turn on the TV. I don't get me wrong, I love music. I do love music, but there are times that I just enjoy listening to the birds sing. Opening that window, listening to the birds sing, or listening to the cat purr. Because I found that friend in the universe. I found that I wasn't afraid to be alone with my own thoughts. And there's a little bit of that. I'm never alone. I'm never alone. I'm never alone, and never lonely, for the universe is my friend. Because I found that place within me, I'm connected to the one. It was created by a loving intelligence to serve me. It was created by a loving intelligence to serve you. It was created by a loving intelligence to serve all of us. Rita is trying to knock over the camera. All circumstances are impressing me with good. Where I am, God is, and that is all I need to be happy. Well, and that's an interesting statement, including the fact that everything is made of God's stuff, which means that wherever I am, God is. That means that everything that I need is there. It does require me and you to be awake and conscious so that we can find it. It's like, it's right in front of us. Or at least it's on its way. I'm really wishing I had turned the fan on. Right now. All around me at every instant is divine companionship and divine love. God looks at me through every face. God blesses me through every situation. So God looks at you through every face. That's one of the reasons why I do say to look around you and you know, look into each other's eyes and see God looking back at you. It is an exercise in recognizing that divine friendship. Even if you're not friends with the person, even if they're a total stranger and you'll never see them again, and especially if they are people that you love, that you have a difficult relationship with occasionally. The law of good is working for me. And I give it full power in my life now. So, the law of good is working for us. But we have to give it full power in our life. We are the only ones that have the power to restrict the good of that flow in our lives. There is a degree of relationship. Yes, I'm aware of that. I'm not discounting that. But the law of good is working for you, and you get to give it full power. There is no law of evil to oppose it. There's no law of evil. As I have stated, evil is a misuse of the law of good. It is not its own law. It is not its own power. It is not a person. It is not a thing. It is a misuse. For God is one. I know that I am held lovingly and firmly in the law of good. Say that to yourself 5 times before you leave the house. I know that I am held lovingly and firmly in the law of good. I know that you are held lovingly and firmly in the law of good. The peace that, yes, he uses a weird word here, which is why I stumbled over it, so I'm just going to say pass. The peace that passes all understanding is mine, for I let God do the work. Okay, so where am I letting God do the work? Here and here. I am still required to get up and go out and do the work, the material work. Yeah, that's still on me. But I am letting God do the work here and here, which will guide my actions when I'm doing the work out here. I'm not going to sit on my couch and let God do the work. That's not the way this works. God's going to do the work through me. I set aside all my human opinions and material belief and give God a chance to act through me. How many of us can do that? I set aside all my human opinions and material belief and give God a chance to act through me. That's treatment. That is treatment. That is exactly what we do in treatment. We set aside our human opinions, we set aside our material beliefs, and we let God do. We let God do. That is exactly what treatment is. Oh my gosh. How did I miss that the first time through? It's an epic statement. I know that the only result of this decision will be to increase the blessings of my life. I construct new forms based on new ideas. I let the old patterns fall away and I rejoice in a new heaven and a new earth. I build wisely. I am constructing new forms based on new ideas because I am building wisely. I let old patterns fall away, and that's the biggest thing. Any of us who have been around for any time, we know we have patterns. And when we are working with patterns that don't work for us, the best thing we can do is to let them go. And rejoice in the new heaven and the new earth and the new patterns. Letting go of the past, I press forward to new and greater ideas of truth. New foundations appear, new temples are built, and new good happens. I build on the sure knowledge of the goodness of life and the permanence of love. And that's kind of what Science of Mind requires of you. To build on the sure knowledge of the goodness of life and the permanence of love. That's what we teach. We teach that there is good and you ought to have it. We teach that God is love. We teach that God is a patterning intelligence, not an old accountant in the sky with a big book. So that's what we're building on. And when we build on the knowledge of the law, the goodness of life, and we build on the knowledge of permanence of love, then we can't help but build wisely. Within me now is the power of good fulfilling all my dreams, desires, dreams. Ooh, Freudian slip there. Within me now is the power of God fulfilling, because where else is the power of God going to be but within you? You are a child of God. Within me now is divine love making lovely and gracious my way. Within you now is divine love. You are always held in divine love. Whether you are aware of it or not, you are always held in divine love. Within me now is God's intelligence making every right decision. Every right decision. If a decision is made with love, if a decision is made with compassion, if a decision is made with kindness, it is always going to be the right decision. I lack for nothing, for the mind which created me is in me and working through me. God can do for me what God can do through me. Frequently we say God can only do for you what God can do through you, but we don't have to put the only on there. God does for me because God does through me. So it's the same with you. God does for you what God does through you. You are your own agent. You are your own agent. You have your own agency. So, our mission, should we choose to accept it? I'm going to go back. I loved that line. Now I have to find it again. Our mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to set aside all our human opinions and material belief and give God a chance to act through us. Not a small mission. But that is what we do. Every time we do a treatment, we recognize there is one God. And that we're a part of that one God. And through that God, through that Spirit, through that law, all things are possible. And it doesn't matter what our opinions are, and it doesn't matter what the material world believes. It's possible. Because with love, anything's possible. All right, beloveds, that is today. That is April 10th. And I, as always, I'm going to encourage you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever it looks like to you. I can tell you, I've been out there. It is going to be a gorgeous day. Absolutely gorgeous. So please, go out, get some fresh air, open your windows. We've got our windows open right now because it's beautiful. There's a nice breeze. The sun has come out. Go get some sun on your face. Just a few minutes. Do something to engage your mind and your body. Do something to engage your creativity. Whatever that looks like to you. Do what you need to do to make it a fantastic day. Because you are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased. Always. That is our state of grace. So open the windows of your soul. Allow that breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven now. Look for the good. Look for the good and praise it. Because the more you look for, the more you see, the more you see, the more there is. And that is how we create a world that works for everybody. By looking for the good. All right, beloveds. Come here. Oh, there we go. One can meow for you. One massive Rita purr. All right, beloveds. Do what you need to do to make it a fantastic day. It being Saturday, that means that Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. on Facebook Live. I'll be back at 9 a.m. with Facebook Live. And then we will have an amazing service for you tomorrow at 11 a.m. on Facebook Live. And later on the Creative Life Spiritual Center YouTube channel. These talks, however, are archived on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel. So if you ever want to go back and look and see what a particular day was last year in the other book, that's where they're available. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day and know that you are loved.